Hey guys, how are you doing? Hold on. I have to take these off. I fall asleep with them on. I sleep with my headphones on, even if there's nothing playing. Okay. Take them off for now though. Oh, weird. Okay, I had some weird dreams last night. I actually woke up early in the morning like I normally do. Hold on, I'm gonna set this down. I woke up early in the morning like I normally do, around 4. Exercised. Had to go back to sleep because my muscles are like, you know, how it gets, like you get really sleepy. Okay, I'm looking like who did it and why. Perfect. Bear with me here. Okay. Yeah. So in my dream, I believe the god that I was with was Yama. I believe he goes by Yama. It was a nakshatra that's in the sidereal sign of Aries is where I was at. In the bardo, in the astral realm, in the lucid dreaming state. I have everything's a mess. Okay, I use the nakshatras. I also use the nakshatras to help me navigate each individual Sephiroth on the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, as well as astrology, as well as the alphabet, right? Because there's many different spheres within each Sephiroth, in the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, okay? We're thinking the Tree of Life. I don't know if you guys remember when I had the Tree of Life painted on my wall back in Kirkland this summer or last spring. Let me get a picture of it. Ugh. Looks like this. Hey, stop it, dog. I don't remember which is which. Are these all empty? I guess I could be writing them down. Okay, so Yama. Yama is in sidereal Aries. It's in the nakshatra called Barney, which is the core of sidereal Aries. And Yama is the god that oversees the energy of assigning you your natal chart, assigning you and finding where and what vessel you're going to be incarnating into. So in the astral realm, where a majority of the nakshatras will actually be taking place, it's not in this world. The kingdom is not in this world. The kingdom that we're speaking of is not in this world. It's on a different plane of existence. It's for those that have ascended out of this realm. And you can still be alive and be ascended out of this realm. A lot of times when you see someone that's just kind of like a blank vessel, NPCs, a lot of times when you see an NPC, it would be because their body, their soul, their spirit has already ascended to this kingdom. Or if you notice, like say, like for me in my life, my father ascended out of this realm. He's still alive, but his vessel is no longer the man that I knew because he's not here anymore. He's in the kingdom, out of this realm, right? His soul ascended out of this realm already a long time ago. These cards are empty. There's nothing on them. I was taken to a specific date. A lot of times they will take me with time. They will take me with time. Time will take me, right? Saturn is one of my very close and dearest planets. I absolutely love Saturn. Saturn is the ruler of my Grand Cross. Saturn is one of the only energies I have in fire. Saturn is in my first natal house currently, about 3 degrees away from my ascendant. Venus retrograde did not enter back into my 12th house, but it stayed in my first house. I did not do all of my rituals on Easter that I was supposed to do. It was, I only did the Saturn hexagram. And then because I'm not in my own area, because I'm not in my own space, which I will be moving, I believe, tomorrow into my own space, I was only able to do the invocation for Saturn, which is the greater hexagram of Saturn. I wasn't able to go any farther than that. I only was able to do Saturn, and the Pope died. No, but I'm making a video. So when I was supposed to do the greater hexagram for all of the planets, I was only able to go to Saturn because I got interrupted in the middle of doing the rituals. And the fucking Pope died. So it's really important for me to get to a place where I can do all of the rituals and I can't stop in the middle of it. I'm not saying that's the reason that the Pope died, but Saturn rules you know?
I don't.
I wasn't talking to you.
No.
Are you Saturn? No, you're not. Anyways, I have Saturn at 1 degree of Taurus, which is where the sun is at on Easter. And it is the first pillar in my Grand Cross. Starting on Easter, Saturn. So there's that. I started this video talking about Yama and the date of December, which is 12/11/1974. If you do the math, this is going to equal 44. 44 in numerology is going to equal 8. The Pope died at 88 years old. So when we see these double numbers, they're very significant, meaning that they have not one number, but they have two of them, meaning it's the greater, way more exalted version of the number. And when we look at the number 4, the 4 is very significant, and there's a very big secret in regards to the 4. So when we see things that are 4, we think of what? The 4 seasons. We think of the 4 cardinal directions, the 4 mutable directions, or the 4 fixed directions, depending on what you want your outcome to be. We think of a cross. There are 4 different sides of a cross. And depending which side of the cross you want to be a longer or a more extended version will be the amount of time or the amount of distance you will put on that axis. So if we're thinking, okay, so me right now, I would say that bear with me. Okay, so we want to say you want to have a very big exalted sense of who you are, your own personal self, right? You would say you would have a very long first house. And say you're kind of focused on relationships, but you're not super focused on relationships. You're more focused about who you are in regards to maybe your home or who you're allowed to be in your home. That would put another really long axis in the fourth house. And say you're not super focused about your career, that would put a short axis for your 10th house. So then you would look here, and then you can go to your astrological chart and you can see the first, the fourth, the seventh, and then the 10th house. What are in the Placidus house system that your chart will normally be made in, what are the distances? How long are those houses? Will tell you the distance or the actual shape of your individual cross, right? Some people have 2 crosses. Some people might even have 3 crosses, right? You don't want to use any asteroids or the nodes. You need to use the planets, specifically the traditional planets. But you can also use the generational planets. If it's a generational planet, you can expect your mission to be maybe a little bit bigger in regards to if it's using a generational planet, which most of them are, considering how rare of an aspect pattern it actually is. Now, also another thing to keep in mind, on Easter, we had a fixed grand cross if we were to include Lilith at 1 degree of Scorpio. So we had the sun at 1 degree of Taurus. We had Lilith at 2 degrees of Scorpio. We had the moon and Pluto. I believe the moon was at 2 degrees of Aquarius. And moon. And I believe that Pluto was at 3 degrees of Aquarius on Easter Monday. On Monday. So it's the moon. The moon is what did this, not the sun, the moon. Okay, I want you to start looking more towards the moon. We have to think the sun is going to be the source of our power, but the moon is the thing that follows the earth, right? The earth or the moon does not follow the sun. The earth follows the sun, but the moon follows the earth. It's imagine Isis and Horus, or Mother Mary and Jesus, while the Father is the sun, the source of power. And then we had Mars at, I believe, 3 degrees or possibly 6 degrees of Leo. So when we think of what a fixed cross is, we think of the World card. We think of the Wheel of Fortune card. So the Wheel of Fortune is going to be connecting the Sephiroth of Venus and connecting the Sephiroth of Jupiter on the right-hand side, connecting blue and green. And then if we were to think of the World card, that is going to be symbolic of not only it's the path from the earth to the moon is the World card. Okay, so in my sidereal human design chart, I have the path of grace connecting from my conscious earth to my conscious moon in the path of grace, as well as a cardinal grand cross. So when you think of the world, just a moment, because I want to read something to you. It's on page 144. the Virgin Universe. 144 is the 12th term of the Fibonacci. We talk about the 144 elect or the 144 chosen. We're talking about 12 spirals, each zodiac sign or each 30-degree portion receiving a spiral. 144 is the energy of love, is the energy of harmony, completion. When we start to go over that, when there is remainder after the 12, is when we start to get into a little bit more of some confusing dark energies. The 13th term of the Fibonacci is 233. The gematria for hell is 222. And that is right before you get to the kingdom of God, the second house and the third house. The second house meaning the throat to right here, to the arms. The throat to the arms. That's hell. Marriage, hell. Your own personal values and extending your arms out. What do we have to use? We hold guns up. That is our arms. We fight with our arms. We fight with our hands. We kill with our hands. The hands, the arms. So that is considered to be hell. When we cause harm to another with our hands, our arms, hell awakens. We are come unto a palace of which every stone is a separate jewel and is set with millions of moons. What is the planet that has the most moons? That would be Saturn, the Lord of the Rings. In this palace is nothing but a body of a woman, proud and delicate and beyond imagination fair. She is like a child of 12 years old. She has very deep eyelids and long lashes. Her eyes are closed or nearly closed. It is impossible to say anything about her. She is naked. Her whole body is covered with fine gold hairs that are the electric flames which the spears of mighty and terrible angels whose breastplates are the scales of her skin. And the hair of her head flows down to her feet. It is the very light of God himself. Of all the glories beheld by the seer of the aethers, there is not one which is worthy to be compared to her littlest fingernail. For although she may not partake of the aether without the ceremonial preparations, even the beholding of this aether is from afar is like the partaking of all the former aethers. The seer is lost in wonder, which is peace. And the ring of the horizon above her is a company of glorious archangels and joined hands that stand and sing. This is the daughter of Babylon the beautiful, that hath borne unto the Father of all, and unto all hath borne her. This is the daughter of the King. This is the Virgin of eternity. This is the one, the Holy One hath wrested from the giant time, and prized of them that have overcome space. This is she that sat upon the throne of understanding. Holy, holy, holy is her name, not to be spoken among men. For Kor they have called her, and Malach, and Betula, and Persephone. And the poets have feigned songs about her, and the prophets have spoken vain things. And the young men have dreamed vain dreams not to be spoken. Thought cannot pierce the glory that defendeth her, and thought is smitten dead before her presence. Memory is blank, and the most ancient books of magic neither words to conjure her nor adorations to praise her. Will bends like the reed in the tempest that sweeps the borders of her kingdom, and the imagination cannot figure so much as one petal of the lilies whereupon she standeth in the lake of crystal in the sea of glass. This is she that hath bedecked her hair with the 7 stars, the 7 breaths of God that move and thrill its excellence, And she hath tied her hair with 7 combs, whereupon are written the 7 secret names of God, that not even the archangels or the angels or the archangels or the leader of the armies of the Lord, holy, holy, holy art thou, blessed be thy name forever, unto whom the aeons are the pulsings of thy blood. And if we look here at the front of the Book of Thoth, written by Aleister Crowley, born October 12th, he also had a grand cross in his chart, so I would assume he was speaking of himself or his high priestess that was yet to come. We see here a woman. We see here a serpent. We see here an eye. We see here an eagle representing Scorpio. We see here a bull on the bottom representing Taurus. We see here a lion representing Leo. And we see here a man representing Aquarius. And in these fixed signs, which we just were talking about, the fixed cross we just had on Easter Monday, the day that the Pope died, and the cross, and depending on where you're at in the world, what energies, what houses were the largest, what do you have to focus on in regards to this portal that's been opened. Also, I would like you to look at the ice skating Milan and Milana something, I don't know. He danced to the Falling in Reverse song, I'm Not a Vampire. And he got the ice skating world. He defended the world championship or something. I don't know. That was significant. That's when my hair changed colors, which is also at the beginning of the book of Revelation. They say that Jesus's hair turned white, representing his wisdom. And when you think of wisdom, there's intelligence, there's knowledge, but wisdom is knowledge applied. Is when you take the knowledge you have and you apply it and you make something different out of it, when you're able to connect the dots of the things that you've learned that maybe when you learned them didn't make a lot of sense or you didn't see how they could apply, but you still retained the knowledge, retained the information, and you were later able to connect it to things that you saw, things that you felt, things that you witnessed. So we see here this naked woman and a serpent, and she has her foot on the serpent's head, symbolic of Jesus, symbolic of the year of the dragon. Okay, we think of, if we're thinking about the beasts, if you're a beast, the dragon comes after the snake and is symbolic of Virgo, the virgin universe. Okay, Crowley, Spica, the left hand of Virgo, the virgin universe. Now, having that cross is very significant, very rare, and not something that happens often at all, especially when we're dealing with no asteroids and just planets. Now, this was just caused by Lilith, which Lilith is just an oscillating apogee. It's not a body. It's an aspect of the moon. And like I said, this was ruled by the moon. So there's something also very significant that we need to look at in regards to the beginning of Scorpio to the beginning of Aquarius that needs to be assessed. Okay, because we have this Scorpio, Lilith, the energy of primal sexual desire, of maybe Lilith can be raunchy, Lilith can be dirty, Lilith can be seen as someone. Judgment. The Queen of Wands, the Knight of Swords, and the Page of Cups, as well as the Star. When I see the Star, I don't know very much about the Goetic energies or the Goetic spirits, besides one, and that would be the accompanying one to the Star. And that would be like Mozart, right? We think of Mozart. Clemency, equilibrium, protects against attacks in court. So, just, God the just. And so when I see the star, we also have judgment. Judgment is not what you need. You need God the just. You need someone that is understanding. This is not about judgment, about, oh, you've done something wrong, you're not allowed in. It's about, okay, so there's something that might be seen as something wrong. There might be seen as something that would be meriting, you know, maybe a shunning or a non-acceptance or a rejection. What can we do to fix that? And how can we get you to where you need to be? How can we get you to where you need to be? How can we fix this while there's still time left to fix it? How can we make sure that when the end of your life comes, that you don't have the things that would bring damnation, the things that would bring a need to repeat, right? How can we make sure that you ascend into the new home, into the new kingdom? What energy do you need to embody? How can you embody the energy that is in the energetic alignment with the new kingdom? I think that's all I have to say. Oh. That's all I have to say. Let's read a book, a little. Let's see if we can find the chapter in the Bible when we talk about Jesus's hair turning white. We're going to start with chapter 1, verse 9. I, John, who also am your brother and companion in tribulation, in the kingdom and the patience of Jesus Christ, was in the isle that is called Patmos, for the word of God and for the testimony of Jesus Christ. I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day, and I heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet, saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. And what thou seest, write in a book, and send it unto the 7 churches where are in Asia, and Ephesus, and Smyrna, and unto Pergamos, and Thyatira, and to the Sardis, and unto Philadelphia, and unto Laodicea. And I turned to see that the voice spake to me, and being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet unto fine brass, as if they turned a furnace, and his voice as the sounds of many waters. He had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp two-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shineth in its strength. And when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead. And he laid his right hand upon me, saying unto me, Fear not, I am the first and the last. I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive for evermore. Amen. And have the keys of hell and the keys of death. Write the things which thou hast seen, and the things which are, and the things which shall be hereafter. The mystery of the 7 stars, which thou sawest in my right hand, and the 7 golden candlesticks. The 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches, and the 7 candlesticks, which thou sawest, are the 7 churches. We'll leave that there, guys. Okay?